Thank you for staying with us. We still have our panelists with us in the studio as well as the Google Plus Hangout. But let me come back to you. The issue. I mean, so obviously we have hubs in Lagos, like you said. We have a lot of hubs in the northern part of the country, in the southeastern, and even Port Harcourt, south. There are hubs everywhere. But people are of the opinion that at this moment hubs are kind of obsolete. Do you agree?
Well, for us in Nigeria, they're not. I mean, they are having hubs is like a stepping stone to getting where we want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe in developed countries they might be obsolete, but we can't compare ourselves to them. And getting hubs, so it's really not about hubs this time. If we have constant electricity, people can learn coding from their homes,
Exactly,
from their
because
beds.
that's where I was going to when
Yeah.
I said, people think that,
Yeah.
hubs are kind of obsolete. So because programmers and coders would prefer to work from home.
Yes, but most of them go to the hubs because they have access to electricity, internet access,
yeah.
infrastructure. They can, stretch their feet, and most of these hubs actually have lounges where they can rest when they are saturated. So we need constant electricity. I mean, that will help. We need internet access. I hear that, okay, it's usually in the news that the ISPs are usually overtaxed. So internet access is still relatively expensive. Just last week, I got a text from my ISP that they're increasing the rate of, the plan that I am on.
Yeah.
So it's actually expensive, but if they're really affordable and also very effective, people can learn how to code from their mobile phones. They can learn how to code from their tablets, from their computers,
and from the comfort of their
from
homes.
the comfort of their homes. They don't have to journey themselves to the hubs and all that. So infrastructures are really important. Electricity, internet access. We can't talk about technology or having smart cities or smart young people, entrepreneurs, and then we don't have basic internet. So we need to get those right, to solve those challenges. I mean, if there are more people who have internet in the north, they can tell the stories of what is happening around, right from Facebook and then Twitter and other social media platforms.
Sanusi, what do you think about that? I mean, the government's policies and all of that, trying to make sure that, first of all, we have internet, as much as possible. And also the issue that, hubs are beginning to be obsolete in the scheme of things, as it were.
On the policy bit, I think government is doing okay. The broadband plan is decent on paper. However, I feel like implementation is where stuff is lacking. It's one thing to have a great plan on paper. It's another thing to put that plan, into life. There also needs to be some form of continuity built into these things, such a way that one government comes and does like its bit, and the next government doesn't just come and scrap it or come and stall it, but actually continues the project. I think that would help a long way. The broadband plan in particular would help getting more people into tech and helping with tech development in Nigeria because, in my opinion, half the problem is access. A lot of people don't have access to the internet or tech, so it's not even an option for them. Regarding the fact that hubs are going obsolete, I don't know where that's from. Hubs are not obsolete. People are still investing in hubs across the world. Google has, the Launchpad. Facebook has its own accelerator program, and those things run in hubs, not just in Nigeria, but everywhere in the world. In Asia, especially around China, you see that they have a lot of hubs and hardware spaces and maker spaces. They're everywhere, everywhere. So hubs are not getting obsolete. I think where you mix things up is when you mix up a hub and co-working space.
All right, let me just come back to you just in wrapping up. Policy. I mean, how would you say we've done?
Okay, so as regards policy, just like what Sanusi said, if you're looking at it from Sanusi, if you're looking at it from the Lagos perspective, you think that every Nigerian has access to the internet. I used to work with Benga Shesong at Paradigm Initiative, and I know that we did a lot of work, and they're still doing a lot of work around getting policies in place for technology in Nigeria. We're nowhere. I mean, if you're out of Lagos and go to Ogun State or whichever other state, you see that the level of access to the internet is really low. Even access to gadgets like your mobile phones, your laptops and all that are really low, and there's no penetration yet. And then other areas where I wish we would have talked about is about having more women in tech. The numbers of the percentage of women who have access to technology tools or technology gadgets are really low. I'm not talking about internet access. I was opportune to work with Paradigm Initiative on a policy, a research for Web Foundation, and then I went to the streets, to interview people for research, and then we found out that a lot of women do not even want to be on the internet.
I can imagine.
They're not interested in it. Just even having social media platforms and all that. So we need to make it really affordable so that they can be able to, come on board.
I hope that happens in the very nearest future.
I really
have
hope.
to say thank you for joining us.
Thank you
on the
for
program.
inviting me, Victor.
Also, thank you to you guys who joined us from Kaduna. Sanusi Ismaila, thank you for joining us, as well as Robert John, both of you from Kaduna. Thank you once again for joining us on the program. But I mean, it doesn't end here. We'll just take a quick break, and we'll be back with the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. Please stay with us.
This week's most viewed videos begins with the reaction of Senator Shehu Sani to the crisis in the ruling APC, which led to his defection from the party.
And what they did, the last chairman of the party and the last National Working Committee of the party did, before they left, they planted bombs, which is now exploding. So as far as we are concerned, we are taking the necessary step to depart from Egypt. And like I've said earlier, we are now at the Red Sea coast.
Up next in fourth is the former running mate to President Muhammadu Buhari during the 2011 elections, Pastor Tunde Bakare, assessing the Buhari-led administration's fight against corruption.
All I hear today is corruption is fighting back. It's a thing of deep concern for me that up to this hour, almost 3 years after, except the likes of Dasuki, who had been detained more or less forever, for whatever reasons, I've not seen any serious conviction.
Third spot is taken by the video of the outgoing Deputy Governor of Ekiti State, Professor Kolakwa Olushola, condemning how his boss was allegedly manhandled by the police.
It is quite unfortunate that such an incident like this could happen, especially when a sitting governor is being assaulted by a sergeant or a corporal, a police officer of the rank of a corporal or sergeant. It is quite unfortunate.
It is followed in second by a PDP rally in Ekiti State, where the governor expressed confidence of ensuring victory for the PDP in the just concluded governorship election in the state.
On the 14th or 15th, Professor Kolakwa Olushola Eleka will be declared the governor-elect of Ekiti State, Nigeria.
And the allegation by Ekiti State Governor Ayo Fayose that the senior-ranking members of the Nigerian police ordered their men to kill him comes into the charts as the most viewed video in the past week.
The Kompo Mopo of the Nigerian police and the Inspector General of and the AIG ordered that the governor should be killed.
Well, there you go. Those were the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. But with hubs established in all the geopolitical zones of Nigeria, it is now left for policies that will ensure internet penetration goes beyond where it is, so that all can benefit from the boundless opportunities in the information and communication technology era. And on that note, we draw the curtains on this episode of the program, but as always, continue via the social media addresses showing on your screen. I'm Victor Matthias. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.